Oh.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
This dailymail.co.uk headline, they really did capitalize on the ability to just summarize the story in a headline and then just, have a whole bunch of stuff in the actual article itself. But the headline here, Moscow and Kyiv are halfway there in key parts of their peace talks, with the two sides now discussing, quote, nuances, Russia claims, as Putin's stalled forces strike Lviv, 40 miles from Poland, as part of effort to bomb Ukraine into submission.
Wow. Yeah, they really just give it all to you right off the bat there, don't they?
The headline is really just crammed with information there. So that's
what else do you need to know?
I guess nothing.
Gonz.
I guess
nothing.
Putin bad man. As long as we just repeat that, we're in the clear. Isn't that right?
I love the focus on nuance. Like, you wouldn't understand. It's very complicated, very nuanced. Yeah. It's a good sign, though. It's a good sign. They've been the past 3 days. They've really been cranking up the optimism, optimism for the whole situation, which is nice of them to do. But you can tell that as they crank up the optimism for World War III, they're also dialing back the optimism for coronavirus. There's more and more little stories of, China's shutting down. More cases. The spring. It's going to be a dark, deadly spring.
The dark spring after the dark winter.
The cold spring.
The cold spring. Yeah, there's... but that's, a part of the challenge here with all of this. And this is one of the things we've challenged all of our listeners, producers, people coming in and out to really question everything that's being published everywhere right now. It's right. Really difficult to know exactly what's going on unless you're boots on the ground. So keeping that in mind here, one of the stories that popped up here in the last day or so, UN's highest court orders Russia to end its deadly war operations in Ukraine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So this is the bureaucracy.
That's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for finally someone with some authority to tell Russia to stop it.
Well, that's what's funny is that now they're starting to, these international institutions are throwing around their bureaucratic weight, so it's kind of interesting to watch. Now, this is a professor here from Yale Law, and he's talking about the whole situation here. He was representing, or he was part of the whole UN highest court, who ordered Russia to stop the military operations.
This could be a very tough haul. The vote in the International Court of Justice, it's definitely a major win for Ukraine. But, Harold, some may argue it's mostly symbolic. So does this have any teeth?
No.
Well, that's like saying that when the Supreme Court of the United States ordered Richard Nixon to turn over the tapes, it was largely symbolic. It's a ruling of law. No court has enforcement authority, but what it does is it has the ability to brand somebody's actions as illegal, make them a pariah, and make them isolated. That's exactly what President Zelensky says, is this dramatically weakens President Putin's bargaining position. And I think most important, a 13-2 vote will make the Chinese feel very skeptical about whether they really want to side with Putin unequivocally going forward, because to do so associates themselves with that level of equality. So this was a victory for international law. It's only an important first step, but it was not a close case. It was 13-2 with only the Russian and the Chinese judge dissenting. And it's an important step, as you say, on the way to further isolating Putin, driving him into negotiations with a relatively weak hand, and strengthening the case for more sanctions and more accountability against him for the war crimes that he's committing every day.
Branding him an outlaw.
Outlaw.
Branding him an outlaw.
Yeah,
this is pretty funny. I'm surprised it took so long. I mean, it seems like such a easy step, at least if you compare it to what we've been, what the media has been expressing, what politicians have been expressing, what the international community has been expressing for, 3 weeks now, over 3 weeks. And just now they're having international courts take a vote on whether this is
well,
cool
it's bureaucracy.
or not.
It takes a little while for the wheels to start spinning, and you got to
order
a meeting,
there.
and you got to get on the Zoom call. It's a whole ordeal, man. It takes forever.
People have they have golfing weekends and kids' birthday parties. They can't just drop everything just because Putin's going AWOL.
Which is, it's really interesting, though, because it is sort of showing the contrast of in our state today, these world institutions that nobody really voted for. Like, we didn't vote for these institutions and representatives in these institutions to enforce some kind of international law. But, of course, after World War II and the New World Order and all that kind of stuff has developed this climate. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Everything they say here seems skeptical.
I love what they said, though, that this is basically, just solidifying the fact that Putin's a pariah and it's a bargaining chip. It's a bargaining position.
But they're declaring all this. There was a vote, all this kind of stuff, but it's kind of, it still feels like it's out of thin air. There's no weight to it. It's just like these big elite people just saying, yes, it's law. I'm a professor at Yale Law, and I'm saying it's law, therefore it's law. It's like, okay, I guess the magic continues.
Right, which is kind of to say that it's the same people. It's the same people who've been mad the whole time.
Now listen to this. This is from the same interview, 30-second clip, the same gentleman comparing Putin to cancer.
Kira, the way to think about this is the way that you think about a fight against cancer. If it doesn't kill you in the first go, if you can survive, then chemotherapy and other kinds of stronger working solutions can act. So it needs the Ukrainian people to survive on the ground, and then for law to work through its processes to isolate the disease, which here is Putin's aggression and atrocities.
So kind of an interesting analogy there. I don't know if he thinks he was clever with that comparison, but isn't that weird? It's like, the UN is kind of like chemotherapy. We're just going to keep pounding away at this disease called Putin until he goes away. If it kills us, it's just
really
like this weird declaration of fight to the death.
It really is weird. And, he's been compared to so many different things. It's almost like this guy just ran out of metaphors. Or,
I know.
Everything's been said. He's a despot. He's an authoritarian. He's a tyrant. He's literally Hitler. He's literally Trump. He's he's all these. I don't know, man. What can we call him now that people won't just tune out? I don't know. He's cancer. How about that?
People
folks?
can relate to cancer. We've killed lots of people with cancer. So
I think it's funny. It's funny because it's almost the same. I mean, what is cancer besides the Hitler of diseases?
Right, exactly. the thing that won't go away, that we must eradicate through a long process of bureaucracy and law.
A valiant attempt at sort of a new take on the rhetoric.
Yeah.